Hey, so I just wanted to share a few thoughts that I have on the fitness industry at large. I have a lot of thoughts on this, and you've heard a lot of my just probably overarching beliefs on the misogyny that happens in the fitness industry, as well as just the lack of physiological knowledge. But one thing that I just want to talk about here is in maybe like the more inclusive or women's focused fitness industry, there's a lot of thoughts of like, well, something's better than nothing. Like, well, it's better that I at least did something in terms of my movement practice than nothing at all. And I get that. I get why people would say that and why people think that's true. And it's just a little bit more complicated than that. And I want to give you an example. So where I hear this all the time is like, oh, I want to get back to moving after I had a baby, or I want to get back to moving after I haven't been doing a lot of stuff. And, I know I don't have a ton of time, but I'm just going to go for a run. Like I'm just going to go and, run for a mile or even a half a mile. I'm just going to go out and go running, strap on my shoes because something's better than nothing. And even though I can't get to the gym, it's better that I just do this thing. And you're like, oh, I know it would be better for me to do like a female physiological focused strength training class. But that's not really available to me in here I am at my local gym. And so I'm just going to do the circuit training class that they have there because it's better than not doing it at all. Or I know that like yoga might be actually harmful for my body, but it's better than not moving, right? And I get this. I'm a big fan, obviously, of movement, and I think that movement is how the body functions in a very basic like level and capacity. We're manual creatures, so every single system functions and thrives with movement of our physical body. So yes, and because when I think of just the basic things that women go to do when we're like, oh, trying to get back into movement, some of the ones I just named are like really common. I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna go for a spin class. I'm gonna take the circuit or strength training class at my local Y, or or I'm gonna go to a yoga class. And the idea that that's better than not doing anything at all. And I just have to say that might not actually be just that simple. I think that a lot of those practices, and specifically in how they're done, can actually do more harm than good. And I say that firmly. Specifically, I'm thinking about like, oh my gosh, going for a run. I feel like I hear this one a lot from women in their early postpartum period. It's like, well, I just want to get out there and like be away from my kids a little bit, right? And I don't actually think that's better than not going for a run in that early postpartum period, or even in your first year postpartum, potentially, depending on what's going on in your pelvic floor, right? Actually not doing that might be better for your overall health. The same goes for strength training. If it's not pelvic floor informed and female physiologically focused, I actually think it can genuinely do more harm than good. You've heard me talk about the yoga practice and how consistent practice or even interim practice. I just took a yoga class the other day, which I don't do that often, and it like felt good, and then my SI joints hurt immediately after. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I know better, and even still. So I just want to be talking about this because I feel like it's a myth that is coming up in our culture of like, well, it's better to move in these ways. And I don't want to say that obviously some movement is better than no movement, but all movement is not better than no movement, if that makes sense. So there are some things that are better than nothing, and there is nothing that is better than some things. So I just wanted to put out this perspective because the more that we learn about what's going on with our systems physiologically, the more that we understand the female body, the more that we understand kind of the causes of our health concerns or our physiological concerns, or even what our goals are, understand the pain, the discomfort that we're having. The more we understand that, the more we'll be able to clearly make these choices, right? And clearly figure out, well, is that actually better than not doing it at all, rather than just this blanket message of, well, you got to do something. And then, because I see so many women get caught in that trap, and they're really making the time for themselves, but they're not seeing the results, and they might actively be exacerbating whatever health concerns they are having. So just wanted to put that out there. Something's not always better than nothing, but I do have obviously a ton of resources for not just things to do that are healthful and incredibly supportive for our female physiology, but also resources that can help you learn how to discern and form and change whatever it is that you want to do to be supportive for your unique body. So just wanted to share that here.